Good evening, I'm Ansmane Sonyasi, and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Keraba Avenue. Here are the main news headlines. We look at the judiciary, which appears to be making significant strides with fair representation and participation of women. The chairman of the QGroup Muhammed Jah gave an inspirational speech on the topic from grass to grace to the young entrepreneurs of the GCCI Keur Jula Challenge. The Director of Scientific Affairs at the Food Safety and Quality Authority has told QTV that in 2022, the authority closed several supermarkets for breaching food safety regulations. And the Commissioner for Economic Affairs and Agriculture of the Ecowas Commission called for stronger cooperation and collaboration among countries and ECOWAS institutions towards the attainment of a single regional currency. The West African Science Service Center on Climate Change and Adapted Land Use this week commemorated 10 years of combating climate change issues.
Who started practicing since 2000, when women's representation in the judiciary was nothing but impressive.
I'm very encouraged. Maybe, I don't know, it's awareness and perhaps a lot of role models, positive role models, but increasingly, certainly in the legal field, I had noticed for some time consistently, year after year, you know, there was a period where you will have more females than male. And that is encouraging. It means women, you know, see themselves as just the sky is the limit, really.
Mariette J. Newlands is a young lawyer with Ami Bensouda & Co. She says the increasing participation of women in the judiciary has helped drive a gender-sensitive transformation in the legal systems around the world.
That previously the legal profession was basically, they would say, gentlemen of the bar, meaning that clearly it was a profession that was highly dominated by male. But I mean, Gambia, I would say we're doing extremely well. Over the past years, most of the female, most of the women are actually actively engaged in the legal profession.
For Mariette, being a woman in the legal field can be challenging, but women have proved equal to the challenges, demonstrating that there's nothing women can't handle if given the opportunity.
The young female lawyer, I would say I'm very proud to be part of the Gambian bar, and increasingly seeing colleagues of mine joining the profession, taking over the profession, and I think going even up to the ladder. If you check in Gambia, most of the law firms, I would say one of the biggest law firms, which is Ami Bensouda & Co., is headed by a woman.
For the first time, Gambia judiciary appointed female cadis in 2022. The Qadi courts hear matters relating to marriage, divorce, and inheritance according to Sharia. Gambia still remains a patriarchal society, judging by the representation of women in other sectors. Women account for less than 9% in the National Assembly. Of the 19 women who contested seats in the 2022 legislative elections, only 3 won their seats, and only 1 represented a political party. Last year, a bill introducing a quota system in public institutions couldn't pass beyond second reading in the parliament. Increasing women's participation and representation in governance and public affairs will play a central role in building momentum for progressive policies and reforms, changing adverse social norms and promoting accountability. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Basonko.
Banking the smart way with the new Aji Bank mobile app. Transfer transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia, top up airtime for all networks, pay utility bills, check your account balance and view mini statements, request for ATM cards, request for checkbooks and more in a single touch. So, do your banking.
Well, we apologize for that break in transmission, and we now continue with the news. The chairman of the QGroup Muhammed Jah gave an inspirational speech on the topic From Grass to Grace to the young entrepreneurs of the GCCI Keur Jula Challenge. The contestants are currently in a boot camp linked to the competition. Mamoudou Gajaga attended the ceremony and Hina reports.
In an inspirational speech titled From Grass to Grace, the QGroup chairman Muhammed Jah told the young entrepreneurs that he began his business by teaching people how to use computers. After 30 years in business, Mr. Jah's business have succeeded and grown, and he has now over 10 businesses so far. His business empire includes QCell, QIT, Ajib Bank, Espas Motors, and Raidcoat, an international freight company, amongst others. He explains how his business journey began.
One of my friends who was working in one of the departments told me that he was rushing to the airport to pick a consultant from London. And I asked curiously why. He said because he is coming to teach us how to use WordPerfect. And I'm sure you guys will not know because you are quite young, the people I see here. WordPerfect is the first version of Word, Microsoft Word. So we used to have WordPerfect, Lotus for Excel and all that. And then whilst at night, I woke up half of the night because it bothered me. And I said, I don't understand how the government of the Gambia will bring somebody all the way from England to put him in Kairaba Hotel at the time, pay his per diem to teach us only how to type in the computer.
On getting the capital for setting up a business, Mr. Jah says young people who want to venture into business must lower their expectations, believe in themselves, work hard, be determined, and not to rely on others to help them.
Give a lot of time to your business. And don't hear what I see also is there's a lot of expectation. You have a lot of expectation from your family, your dad, your mom, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your friends, you know, and the government. For me, I never had expectation from anybody. I believed in myself.
Mr. Jah also advised the young entrepreneurs that their businesses should be based on demand rather than copying what others do. He said he got into the business of computers because of the demand at the time.
You know, and everybody is different. Don't try to copy somebody just because he succeeded. No. Try to be yourself. People tell me, when are you retiring? I said, I don't think I will ever retire. Why should I retire? I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I come to work happy and I go back happy.
There were questions from the young entrepreneurs, ranging from the challenges Mr. Jah faced in his journey to become a successful businessman, and to whether he is looking into invest in agriculture. And this is how he responded.
We have 1,000 UTG graduates every year. We have a lot of tertiary institutions in the country, but there is a serious capacity gap in all the industry. You go to the bankers, they will tell you, you go to QCell, you go everywhere. Because, as I said, people are not learning to work. We are now working with the Gambia government and Republic of Korea to be able to grow rice. We have already brought the grain of rice a few months ago, and we've planted it. It's successful.
The GCCI Keur Jula Challenge is an initiative seeking to transform the mindsets of youth entrepreneurs by exposing them to a merit-based competitive process that recognizes effort and potential. It is the Gambia's first televised business plan competition and includes participants from all regions of the Gambia. The competition, which had been featured on QTV, has seen 450 entrepreneurs pitching their business ideas to a panel of judges with a 3-minute time limit in the hope of winning funds to invest their businesses to the next level. Of these final 19, currently in this boot camp, 11 contestants will receive $50,000 each. Another 5 will receive $100,000 each, and the top 3 will each receive $150,000 to invest in their business. The final, also to be shown on QTV, is scheduled for the 10th of March 2023, when there will be a ceremony for the awardees. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
Quite important and inspirational messages there, and we look forward to the final. Now, the Director of Scientific Affairs at the Food Safety and Quality Authority has told QTV that in 2022, the authority closed several supermarkets that violated food safety laws and regulations. Julian Jai tells us more.
Baidudu Jallow made these remarks during a review of FSQA's achievements and challenges over the past year.
Over the period of 1 year, up to about 10 supermarkets have been temporarily closed, because what we do is if we find something that is significant, then we would automatically close the place and ask you to make the necessary improvements. And what also accompanied this closure sometimes is fines. Sometimes we do levy fines, and this is as per our act.
The Director of Scientific Affairs also stated that despite the numerous challenges faced by the authority, FSQA continues to make significant strides in strengthening food control systems in the Gambia.
The work of the inspectorate unit continued and really was strengthened. There were various also programs with various stakeholders like the butchers, the bakers, different kind of the schools, those who are selling food in the schools. Various stakeholders in the country were engaged, and there were sensitizations and there were training also conducted for these stakeholders.
Critics of the Food Safety Authority have criticized them for not doing enough to monitor or inspect imported food items and those locally produced. Mr. Jallow stated that the authority has over 50 food inspectors who regularly inspect the major markets, restaurants, supermarkets and bakeries in the country.
Really, it's on a daily basis, and it's scary, because anytime you go out to the market, if you do inspection, you will at least remove some items. You will see some expired items or some items that are dented or are in bad conditions, and you will remove them from the market. So I can tell you almost every day when they go out, or every other day when they go out, there is some confiscation that is being done. Because if the amount is not large, then the inspector is just asked to take it out of the market.
Mr. Jallow also spoke about the test kits recently presented to FSQA.
If we get the information, the feedback, the results from the use of these test kits, it will give us as an authority a very good basis to now even refocus our inspections. For example, it can inform us that you need to do more inspection in the water area or in this kind of food area. So I think the test kits are going to be very useful to us, especially if we are able to establish that they are user-friendly and they are providing us the results in the way we expected.
Despite efforts by the authority to prevent food safety issues, Jallow also mentioned some environmental and infrastructural constraints.
As an authority, in terms of the number of staff we have, the inspectors, I've talked of 50, but if you look at from Koina to Katong, you know that you need more inspectors, you need more in terms of mobility and so on. But if you look at also in terms of the scientific work that we need to do, because we have to base all our actions on science, we need a lot more in terms of testing.
The Food Safety and Quality Authority, FSQA, is the sole national competent authority with powers to officially control the safety and quality of food and animal feed, whether locally produced, imported, or destined for export. For QTV News, I am Julden Jai.
And the report there by Julden Jai will lead us to the commercial break, but we will be right back.
amna lu manqué de lu manqué armanti mayonnaise so amul duma lek ma ngi ñëw man may jégi armanti noko gisé safna neexna ndax moom ci armanti mayonnaise ak sauce boo ko ciy def rek dafay neex armanti mayonnaise ren la am 28 years te cafka mosul ceeñ tegoon tànkam fa la ko teg ba tey
man maak armanti dama ko miin yàlla dafa dogal armanti dafa doon sama xarit
yéen jéegi réew mi nee naa leen ñaar fukki at ak juróom-ñett du fukki at ak juróom-ñett déedéet du ay fodde maa la wax lii dugg leen ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique ci biir réew mi am na 500 millilitres 1000 millilitres ak 5 kilos li ci gën a tee dàq mooy def leen indil 25 grammes mooy caati mayonnaise bi am na margarine bota am na bota ice am corned beef bu yàpp ak bu ginaar am na sardine ak banana milk armanti daal dafa complété lépp ngir noppal jéeg yi seen biir waay
armanti product the good quality food
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
Be reminded you're following QTV News and we're broadcasting live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. Now, addressing the ongoing West African Monetary Institution statutory meeting, the Commissioner for Economic Affairs and Agriculture of the Ecowas Commission called for stronger cooperation and collaboration among countries and Ecowas institutions towards the attainment of a single currency within the deadline set by Ecowas leaders. Alucisi reports.
Masanje Toure Litsi, the Ecowas Commissioner for Economic Affairs and Agriculture, made the call on Thursday when he addressed the joint opening of the 46th meeting of Committee of Governors of Central Bank of the West African Monetary Zone, the 44th meeting of the Board of Governors of West Africa Institute for Financial and Economic Management, WIFIAM, and the 61st ordinary meeting of the Committees of Governors of Central Banks of West African Monetary Agency. Deputizing for the President of the Ecowas Commission, Commissioner Masanje Toure Litsi, said the meetings come at a critical stage of the region's economic integration process.
The ECOWAS Convergence Council will meet, inshallah, in Bissau to look at some of the issues constraining progress in the implementation of the ECOWAS Monetary Cooperation Program. In particular, the issue relating to the definition of majority enshrined in the new Macroeconomic Convergence and Stability Pact, where consensus has been difficult to achieve.
Buha Sedi, Governor of the Central Bank of the Gambia, who doubles as the Chairman of the Committee of Governors of the West African Monetary Zone, emphasized on the need for innovative economic recovery plans to address the existing and emerging challenges confronting the sub-region.
During the pandemic period, the Central Bank of the Gambia focused on stabilizing the economy. However, in recent times, amid heightened global inflationary pressures, the Central Bank has focused on the primary objective of price and exchange rate stability to support sustainable economic development.
Dr. Hassan Mahmoud, representing the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, who is the outgoing Chairman of the Committee of Governors of Central Banks of ECOWAS member states, urged delegates to engage constructively and frankly towards the launch of a single currency by 2027. And Kelfa M. Kalon, Governor of Sierra Leone's Central Bank and Chairman of the Board of Governors, WIFIAM, projects stable growth in the ECOWAS region in 2023, despite the post-COVID and Russia-Ukraine war impact.
We have to remain committed and decisive as we continue to put in the required efforts towards achieving the key timelines for the launch of the ECO.
In spite of the optimistic growth prospects for our continent, we know that continued escalated global uncertainties, tightened financial conditions, increased volatility in global financial markets, the flight to safety in response to these uncertainties, and increasingly tighter monetary policy in the US especially, have caused an unprecedented appreciation of the US dollar.
Directors General of West African Monetary Institutions, the West African Monetary Agency, and West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management, WIFM, respectively, said the outcome of the meetings will give a clear direction the actions needed for the sub-region to realize the implementation of its economic integration program. They advocate strong monetary policies to deal with the economic crisis. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Now, the West African Science Service Center on Climate Change and Adapted Land Use this week commemorated 10 years of combating climate change and improving livelihoods. Lena Igwenyiba has more.
WASCAL is a climate service international initiative in 11 Ecowas member countries focused on combating the diverse impacts of climate change and improving livelihoods in West Africa and beyond. Since its establishment in 2012, WASCAL has been committed to helping educate the next generation of scientists to attain an in-depth knowledge of climate-related issues to help the region develop suitable climate management strategies. As part of addressing this, the University of the Gambia is to reintroduce a doctorate research program in climate change and education. Dr. Mama Sawane, Senior Scientific Coordinator at WASCAL, highlights the objective of the program.
The initiative of this program seeks to support West African universities to synergize their efforts on regional basis and maximize their capacities to improve training in climate change and education for better overall result and increased benefits of the entire West Africa. The program aims ultimately aims to strengthen, number one, research, and it also aims to strengthen educational and policy capacity and competence of West African countries.
Sustainable Development Goal 13 calls for urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. It is intrinsically linked to all 16 of the other goals of the UN's 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Prof. Herbert Robinson, Vice-Chancellor of the University of the Gambia, speaks about the effects of climate change.
Climate change is very disruptive to our environment, causing droughts, food security, damage to human health, damage to our infrastructure and livelihoods. We have seen the devastating effects of climate change in many communities in Africa and in the Gambia.
Prof. Robinson calls for support for the reintroduction of the Master's Research Program in Climate Change and Education, which is set to commence this year.
As a national program, because that's the only way we can scale up our capacity building efforts as a country. And we are planning to introduce this program in August 2023. So I call on our partners that are here to respond to that call so that we can build capacity for climate action.
WASCAL is celebrating a decade of extensive research on the impact of climate change on lives and livelihoods and provides research-based results in combating and minimizing those impacts. It remains dedicated to becoming one of Africa's leading science-based institutions in the provision of climate services, especially for West Africa. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena Igwenyiba.
And we still stay with Lena Igwenyiba as she reports that a new maternity ward has been inaugurated in Sinchubalia in the West Coast region to provide quality maternity health care for women and children.
The inauguration follows efforts by the Sunchubalia Minor Health Center, the Ministry of Health and philanthropists to ensure the delivery and utilization of quality comprehensive emergency, obstetrics and newborn care services for the community. This is a vital intervention to provide quick access to health care and reducing accelerating maternal mortality in the country. This health center serves a catchment area for Kunkujang, Wilingara, Sunchu Alaji, Sunchu Sori and Nema with an estimated population of over 78,000. Amadou W. Kurubali, nurse and midwife at the Sunchubalia Health Center, urges women to make good use of the new facility.
The hospital is not for only Sinchubalia Health Center, it's for the Gambian population at large. So if you see these philanthropists coming from Holland, coming and building it, they feel like it's a necessity for the community of Sinchubalia to be able to access health. Women can come and give birth at any time. So we are encouraging all antenatals.
Men's participation in prenatal, delivery and postpartum care is of great importance in the health of the mother and the infant. Alhaji Sankare, Regional Director of Health Services, Western One, challenged men to be fully engaged in the health and well-being of their wives and children.
In this country, maternity services and child health is exclusively the responsibility of women. And I think we have to change that status quo. Men are the decision makers at the household level. Men make decisions, move things to happen. I want to appeal to all men seated around and those that are not around here to remember that the woman is part of you, and once your woman is pregnant, that's where your support should start until the time she is going to deliver.
Kaninjai, a nurse at the health center, is confident that the new facility will make a significant contribution to easing the burden the center has been facing. However, states that the center is without a functional laboratory.
Here in Sinchubalia, we are doing outpatient services. We also